Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deities of the ceremonies today, the three longevity deities, the Amitayus, Tathagata, Ushina Vijaya, and White Tara. Simo, Tutan Siti Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the webcast. And our participating VIPs today are the Chief Secretary to the Taiwan government, Mr. Zheng Pei-fu, and Madam. From Academia Sinica of Taiwan, the academician Professor Zhu Si-yi and Madam. Oh, actually, it's the Mrs. to Professor Zhu Si-yi. So please don't make typos like this. And Troubadour School Scholars Group and Medical Group. And the wood sculptor, Mr. Jian. And the rep to the council from Tainan City. The director of the Taiwan Area Lotus Light Charity Society, Mr. Zhang Yaoren. So, the owners of the 8-9 King Crabs restaurant, Mr. Chen and his wife. Mr. Zhu Jinsui and Madam. Host to Lamdre and the Sutra of Perfect Enlightenment, Master Lien Hai. The producers for the Illuminating Your Heart of CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Xia Qi. Miss Lu Seng-mei, Miss Lu Guoying, and her husband. Announcement from a famous musician, Mr. Ivan Lin. He will have a music hour fest on April 1st at the Taipei Zhongshan Hall. So if you like music, perhaps you can go. And I have another announcement. Tomorrow, Sunday, at 3 p.m. here at the Taiwan Lijiang Temple, which is the same place as the ceremony today, and by the invitation of Tatan Culture, His Holiness will be here to perform the propagation of Grandmaster's literary. And if you have attended before, you would know that it would be very joyous occasion. And then at the end, His Holiness will either perform blessings on the heads or just the group blessings. So we hope you come and participate.
就是明天下午3点
So tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Taiwan Lizang Temple here, which is the same place as the ceremony today. His Holiness will be here. Today, we perform the Homa of Amitayus Tathagata, Ushinawijaya, and White Tara. And the primary supplicants today is benefits from 3 deities at once. Because we all know that Amitayus Tathagata is an emanation of Amitabha Tathagata. The only different emblem between them is that they both form meditation mudra, but Amitayus is holding the nectar vase on top of the meditation mudra. And Ushinawijaya is even greater because she is the union of 3 deities. The frontal face is Ushinawijaya. And then a right and right faces. One is for Guan Yin, and the other one is for Vajrapani. So it's the same as 3 deities in one, Trinity. Because Ushinawijaya represents wisdom, and Guan Yin Bodhisattva represents compassion, and Vajrapani Bodhisattva represents Dhamma power. So Ushinawijaya, which is at the crown of the Buddha, why is she called the Buddha's crown? Because her light is going upward, because she was emanated from the bright light of the top crown of the Buddha. So Ushinawijaya is also quite tremendous. And then White Tara is also called the 7-eye Buddha Mother. On her face, 3 eyes, and on each palm there is an eye, and at her soles also eyes. So for a total of 7 eyes. That's why she's called 7-eye Buddha Mother. And White Tara is also Grandmaster's precept instructor. So White Tara taught me about the precepts in Tantrayana. And then in the past lives, in the heavenly realms, the White Tara was also Grandmaster's spiritual companion. So White Tara is also very powerful, very majestic. And the unity of these 3 deities are called the Trinity of Longevity. Oh, I haven't said my greetings today. So good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
大家午安，大家好。你好，大家好。唔該晒。Selamat siang, selamat bentar. Sawadika, 감사합니다. Nomo, konnichiwa. Good afternoon. Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho. Skoin. Ichiban. Kimochi ii. 另外呢，还有这个多益己多益己就是德意志，就是德国了。 这个烧祭就是健康。这个
Doge is German. Saúde is Portuguese.
对了哈。
They speak Portuguese in Brazil, right? Yes.
Mesh book.
And that's beaucoup.
法国哈，法国。
French.
是法国的。那跟大家问好，希望大家每个人经过这一场附魔以后，你
So I hope
轻的毛病或者是重的毛病
through this Homa
能够一
today
起通通都解除掉。我们身上的毛病都
that
解除掉。
all ailments, big and small, can be totally
每
alleviated.
个人都很长寿，
That
long
every
life.
one of you will live a long life.
每个人都很自在。
And everyone would have great self-mastery.
希望能够解除这个
I
被
hope
叉叉所影
We
响
can
的这些人。
also alleviate the
今
effect
天
of
这个
X.
道会的，有他在旧金山的一个义工，叫做连倩。
Earlier, there was a
10几年的义
volunteer
工
at San Francisco that
10
had
几
been
年的义
helping
工。
X for over
那么他的女
a
儿
decade,
恩琪
called Lian Qian,
精
and
神
her
放纵，
daughter, called
现在
En
不知
Qi,
何处。
is
不知道到哪里
mentally
去。
unstable, and we don't know where she is now.
他的儿子
And her son,
也是到过旧金山的，他的儿子到
who
过
had
旧金山，
visited
去
San
当兵的时
Francisco
候，
too,
被
and then
军中给他勒令，叫他
during
退
his
伍，
time in the
因为他在
military,
军中
he was
这
expelled
个精神
from the
失常。
military because he also lost his mind.
他的父亲在床上
And their father
缠绵，
was sick
他
in
自己
bed, and
也
she
很辛苦。
herself
请问
is suffering a
连
lot.
倩在这里吗？
So, is Lian Qian here now?
连倩在哪个地方？
Where is Lian Qian
哦，在
now?
右边，他站起来
Right。there.
好，在广场。哦，好。
She's outside.
他今天要讲一句话。
She
我
came
们的
today
家庭怎么还？
and she said, how
10几年的义工，
do you return our
全家人
family
变成这样子，
after
这个家
helping
庭你
out
怎么还？
as volunteers for over
要
10
还的还
years?
多呢。
Now her family is like this. How do you
你说谎还
repay
不够吗？
this? So not just the
还有
lies.
一位，不知道有没有来。
And another one,
以前他
not
去五
sure
台
if
山的时候
they're
跟
if
去
he or she
失
is
踪
here
的一
now.
位， 他去五台山
So one who
的时
followed
候，
her
有
to
一位
Mount
同门，
Utai,
有一个女同门失
there
踪。
was a Dharma sister that followed her to Mount Utai and
今
disappeared.
今天让他不在吧？他在吧？
Is
在不
she
在？
here today?
那位失踪的女同门在不在？
That Dharma sister who disappeared.
我现在好的，你站出来给大家看一下好，
Please
好不好？
stand up.
要不要站到台上来？这个失踪的女同门，
So this Dharma sister who had disappeared,
跟她去五台山很多人，其中一个
she
失踪的
went
同门
to Mount Utai with X and many others.
就是这位。你上台一下，给大家照个面。
So please come on the altar.
好的，好，阿弥陀佛。
Okay,
好，欢
Amitabha.
迎你来，好，
Welcome,
欢迎你。
welcome.
这样好了，你要自己讲还是我来讲？
You want to say yourself?
我
or
讲。
Grandmaster?
我是听说的了这个
So
第
I
一个，
heard.
你为什么会失踪呢？是因为游览车到了一个地
Why
点以
did
后，
you get
很多
lost?
商店的地方，
Because when the
然后
tour
大家一起
bus
下来，
got to
那么你
an
也下
area
来，
with a lot of
但
souvenir
是你那时
shops,
候想
they
起
all
说
got
啊，
off the
我
bus.
车上有一瓶矿泉水，
And you got
我
off,
才
and then
上
you
车去拿。
thought of the bottle of
结
water
果
on the
上车
bus.
去拿了以后呢，拿了
So
瓶矿泉水， 结果
you
走
went
下来
back
以
to the
后，
bus to
所
get
有的
the
团员，所
water,
有跟去的团员
and when she
全部
got
都
off
走
the
光了，
bus, they were all gone.
剩下他一个人，也不知道
She
往
was
哪
all
里
by
去，
herself.
是
She
不是这
didn't
样？
know
对
where to go,
然
where
后
they have
呢，
gone.
你就去问商店的人，
So
去
you
拜文殊
ask
师利菩萨怎么
people
走，是不是？
on the shops, how
然
do
后
I
你就
go
走到五台
to
山，
pay
那么
homage
去拜
to
了
the
文殊师利菩
Manjushri
萨，
Bodhisattva? And then
然后
you
下
went
来，
to
你
pay
就
homage to
从
Manjushri
这个
Bodhisattva,
文殊师利菩萨那
and
里
you came
拜完
down,
了以后，你就下来，下来以后就跟这个团体见面了，是不是？
and then you met with the group, right? Because
你那个麦克风接
at
近
the
一点，
Manjushri Bodhisattva's place, I paid homage and I waited for a long time for them.
所有的团员对，
So I was worried that they may have been looking for me. So when I got off the bus, I didn't see anything. I just went to the bus and get a bottle of water. How could they have left in such a short time? So that's why I went to the shops and asked the way to the Manjushri Bodhisattva.
对，
So I was waiting for them at the Manjushri hall. And on the way, I was chanting the Guru mantra and the Akala mantra.
好了好了，知道，
So
我知道
I
你
was
心里很
chanting
慌
the
然后
Guru
你到最后
mantra
碰到他们了，
because I was kind of scared. And I kept visualizing Grandmaster on top of my head. So did you meet them? But I didn't bring the name card of my hotel, so I kept visualizing Grandmaster on top of my head. And I thought, oh, XX, if you have that supernatural power, you would know that I'm waiting at this Manjushri hall, so you don't need to get panic and to find me. So finally, when I returned, I saw the tour guide, and then X just ran toward me and hit me. Because everybody was looking for me, but I felt, how could
对了，
they not
总
wait
之
for
你
me, and
是
they
因
left.
为离开这个团队，到最后你去拜
So
文殊师利菩萨，那么后
So
来呢你就
you
碰
got
到他
separated
了，
from the
碰到他，他
group.
就打你，
So
对不
you
对？
went to Manjushri Bodhisattva, and then when they met again, she hit me on my head.
他等于
But Grandmaster is
他如
sitting
果
on top
看
of my
到你的
head,
上
but
司
she hit my head.
住在顶上，他就不
So
会打
if
你，
she
但
had
是他
seen
没有
that
看到，
the lineage root guru, Grandmaster, is sitting on top of my head, then she wouldn't have hit me on my head. And at that time, I thought that your
一定是假
supernatural
的啦，
power
对
had
不对？
would be
好了，
fake. That I was sure that she didn't have that
啊，
transcendent
不是
or
这样子
the
而已哦。
supernatural
我告诉
power,
你，
and not
他
just this.
编出来的故事还长得很。
That the stories that X
他编
created
出
or
很多故事出来，
fabricated
因
were
为他编了一个
many
很
and
长的故
long,
事，他
and
如
because
何
of
去救
you,
你，对不对？
she created
然后
stories
如
how
何
she
去
saved
跟那
you
个好像
and
把
how
你迷走的那个人，好像你被绑票一样的
it's like you were
啊。
being
那
kidnapped.
你把你迷走的那些人去跟他争吵，
So
争取，
how you were being kidnapped by a group of people, and how she tried to save you by arguing with them. But I don't know. I don't know. Right? So because you got separated from them, you got panicky, so you went to pay homage to Manjushri Bodhisattva by yourself, and then you came back down, right? Very simple. It's just that you got separated for a short while. But the story that she created was totally different. That she used her greatest power to find you, and she flew all over the place to find her. And that there were a group of people that kidnap you and rape you, and of course that wasn't the case. So it's like she was being hallucinated. It's like she was being kidnapped and to be sold, and X used her Dharma power to save you, and so. But the funny thing is, from Beijing to Hong Kong, see, Lianzi, Master Lianzi, who was then still a monk, asked me, was still at the society, so you have to go find her. No, but I'm okay. Okay, now you can go back to your seat. So the stories that she fabricated is that she showed great Dharma power to save her. Before the Man Utai, we went to the private temple to go to the toilets. And asked Master Lianzi to look around for the emperor, the earlier emperor of Qing dynasty, Emperor Sun Tzu, and then claimed that she was the guru of the emperor. Okay, let me speak. Now you can go back to your seat. The tomb. When she saw the tomb next to the toilet, she said that Sun Tzu, which is the name of the emperor, your guru, which is referring to X, is that I've come a little too late. You've been waiting for so long. Now let me bring you back to San Francisco. And actually the guru of Emperor Sun Tzu was the national teacher Yiling. So she claimed that she was that national teacher of the emperor. And then she brought the emperor back to San Francisco. So, do you believe that? The national teacher, Yiling, was invited by Emperor Sun Tzu to the palace and lived there for a long time. And this national teacher, Yiling, did not like it. So the national teacher is like the teacher of the emperor, the imperial teacher. Imperial teacher, Yiling. So this imperial teacher told the emperor that he's leaving. So the Emperor Sun Tzu prepared all the beautiful robes and outfits and all the implements of a monk as big as this temple. So garments or outfits for 4 seasons, the precious seeds and all resources, all the precious metals and money, all to be given to the imperial teacher Yilin. And the imperial teacher replied that I will not take anything, not just even a single thing. So he still wore the old garment that he wore coming to the palace, and wearing a hat, a straw hat, and the staff, and with the small simple bag, and he left the palace. So he doesn't want anything. So if this imperial teacher had been reincarnated as X, the one who takes everything, how could she be the imperial teacher Yilin? She, X, not only X wants not only houses, she always wants people to sell houses and give the money to her. And she always go after rich people, like the one who said that she wanted 30 or 40 million US dollars, which is Kunyin from Saudi Arabia. So she always go after this kind of people. If you have money, she would be after you. If you buy auction items, she would also go after you. Nowadays, Grandmaster don't have any more auctions because I will not say anymore. So that's how it is. So the imperial teacher Yilin did not want anything. Now he is at the Pure Land of Medicine Buddha, the eastern realm of Lapis Lazuli. And the Emperor Sun Tzu also had attainment. So the Emperor Sun Tzu got ordained to become a monk. And Emperor Wu of Liang, also became a monk 4 times. So that's why, but he was found and brought back to the palace, because when he was ordained, he just went next door of the palace to a temple. And if you really want to become ordained, to become a monk, then you should have gone further. But the imperial teacher Yilin never returned to the palace. Emperor Sun Tzu never returned to the palace once he became a monk. So now he's gone to the eastern realm of Medicine Buddha. So the stories that you created were just pure lies. And then for this Dharma sister, just got separated from the group. She wasn't kidnapped or anything, and yet she created a story of using her supernatural power to find her. So when they were all lining up for the toilets, and then when they heard that that X said that she was the teacher of the Emperor Sun Tzu, she cried. And then she created a story that, oh, you're crying, so you must have been the 36th concubine of the Emperor Sun Tzu. So someone that cried at that place at that time, and they cried, so that's his concubine. And there are many people who have seen Grandmaster and cried. So, do you agree? Because Simu, as my wife, is going through so much hardships. So now we promote her to become the first and grand wife. And then anyone else that cried, seeing me become the next concubines, the next wives lined up. Do you agree? So she fabricated stories too much. Too much. So Lian Qian. So look at your family now. So how can she make it up? Well, think about it yourself. So the Amitayus, Ushina Vijaya and White Tara, where have we gone to? The mantra of Amitayus. Om Amamani Junti Soha. Om Amita Aila Tate Soha. That's the mantra of Ushina Vijaya. That's the mantra of White Tara. So we have to introduce these three deities, then it'll take till 7. So let me just briefly say it. Amitayus Tathagata is an emanation of Amitabha Tathagata. And he has the nectar vase. Whenever you drink the nectar from his vase, then all sicknesses will be eradicated. And the Dharma power, Ushina Vijaya, is the same as wisdom, compassion, and Dharma power, the union of these three. And White Tara, talking about White Tara, my guru, Master Thupten Darji, was in Hong Kong, and White Tara appeared to him. You have to go to Taiwan and find someone with the family name Lo. And he will be your heart son. You have to go to Taiwan. So he came to Taiwan and did not find anybody. So he returned to Hong Kong. Afterwards, White Tara told him, you have found the one with family name Lo. Lo, Chinese character. No, I have not. Well, but that person have come to your side, and at that time, by coincidence, I walked in. And all of a sudden, he realized Lu Seng Yen. Lu. In Taiwanese, it's called Lo Sengan. So find someone with the family name Lo. He is your heart son. And my name in Taiwanese is Lo Sengan. In Chinese, Lu Seng Yen. So White Tara told him that this Lu Seng Yen or Seng Yen Lu is your heart son. You need to transmit all the tantric dharma to him. And then Master Thupten Darji told me, so all the dharma practice procedures from your past life are all in my storage. Now I will give them all back to you. So that's cause and effect. So Vaitara once give clue to Master Dutantarji to go to Taiwan to find someone with the family name Lo. So in Taiwanese, my name is Lo Senghan. In Mandarin, it's Lu Sengyan. In Japanese, it's called Ro Katsuhiko. So Lo, the same Lo, Katsuhiko. So that's my affinity with Vaitara. Vaitara give him a clue to find me. And then he gave all the Dharma practice procedures to me. All Dharma, including Kalachakra. There are many of my lineage items are with him. So Vaitara is also great. She taught me precepts, and she's also my spiritual companion to help me attaining the Tao. So that's how marvelous it is. It's a very remarkable affinity. So between my gurus and I, like Karmapa, I also have a marvelous affinity. Also Master Sakya Tsongkhong or Dushyong Rinpoche, also marvelous affinity. And then the Venerable monk Liao Ming, also marvelous affinity. So all these lineage gurus have a very intimate and remarkable affinity. And I have recited the mantras earlier, and the mudras for Amitabha use is the same as Amitabha meditation mudra, with a difference that he's holding the ambrosia or nectar base. And Ushina Vijaya's mudra is the stupa mudra. That's the mudra for Ushina Vijaya, which is the mudra of a stupa, stupa, pagoda. And then the mudra for Vaitara is the same mudra for all taras, which is also the mudra of Golden Mother. And their appearances, Amitayus is the same as Amitabha, all red body. Ushina Vijaya and Vaitara are white. And the seven-eye Buddha Mother has 7 eyes. She's white, and she's holding the Utpala flowers, and also the wishful feeling mudra. And Ushina Vijaya has more arms, more hands, 3 faces. So Ushina Vijaya has 8 arms, and in front of the chest there is the cross Vajra scepter, and the second right hand is a lotus seed with Amitabha Buddha on top. And then the third right hand is holding an arrow, and the fourth is the wishful feeling mudra. And she's also holding an ambrosia vase. Now with their looks and mudra and mantra, you can practice the deity yogas. So the supplicants for today has prophets and also those who receive the empowerments. So you receive blessings from 3 deities at once. Because their ambrosia or nectar water can alleviate sicknesses like White Tara, Ushina Vijaya, and Amitayus can eradicate your sicknesses. So as you pass by the empowerment banners, you need to visualize your sicknesses and you pray to Amitayus, Ushina Vijaya, and White Tara to eradicate your sicknesses. This is very important during the empowerment later. Now, today we will continue to talk about Lamdre. There's also transference of consciousness by sound. Previously, practice the illusory chakras of the body and use the light drops to block all doors. As for the death ritual of the 4th empowerment, one utilizes 6 syllables to block the orifices, and one practices Qi, Hom, and the moon and the seeds at the navel chakra. One uses Hom for 20 cycles of breathing until it reaches the throat area. On the 21st cycle, the same as above, it is expelled through the tip of the crown of Fan Xue to attain the fruition of exalting the main goal or upholding the clarity. Secondly, like a white lion sprinting, tearing apart the clothes of the sacred consciousness, one uses one's own sound to open the Fan Xue door. The utmost pure wisdom is holding the sturdiness of the sacred consciousness. This is the real key formula of the practice. So, at the moment of death, this is a good method to go. Transference of consciousness by sound. So, transference of consciousness by shifting the spirit, and then transference of consciousness by transforming the appearance. So I have talked about transference of consciousness by transforming the appearance and by shifting the spirit. Now I talk about the third one, transference of consciousness by sound. So have you performed the practice of Po Wa, which is opening the tip of the crown or the Fan Xue? Have you done Po Wa practice? P-H-O-W-A. Masters, I have transmitted the practice, but have you practiced it? Good. Because you can't continually practice this Po, you can only do it once a month. So this Po practice is the practice to open the top of your crown, top of your head. So you open a hole at the tip of your head. So through the navel chakra or the heart chakra is the open 8-petal lotus. And then you use the A 6 syllable, and the navel chakra you use Hom. And it's the same, you sit in the 7 posture lotus position and you regulate your breathing. And you need to make your breathing goes to the Dantian at least and at most to the soles of your feet, or to fill your whole body with one inhalation and exhalation, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and regulate it. Regulate your body. And you sit really upright in the 7 posture lotus position, and at least the spine has to be upright. And then you tuck in your chin to push on the throat chakra. And once you straighten your spine, then the central channel is also straight and upright. So even when you don't have any sickness at all, it's okay. You can go too, you can die too. As long as you visualize, at the navel chakra there's a lotus blossom, inside it a home, sit syllable. And then you lift 2 arms and you breathe out through the mouth, home. And the home push the top of your head several times. And when it comes down, you say Ka. Home. It goes up to the top of the head. And then Ka, it descends. You repeat this. When this home sit syllable opens the top of your head, then you should stop practicing it. Otherwise, you would die. You would go. So that would be the same as passing. So you should stop once it's open. But you have to maintain that it is open. You have to maintain the open hole. So this is using the home at the navel chakra to make it fly like a white lion that sprint so that your whole body trembled and very loudly. The whole body would shake and you shoot this home to the top of the head, and then it would come back down with Ka for a total of 20 times or 20 cycles. And on the 21st time, you open the top of your head, and then it flies out, and it would hook on the hook of Ah, sit syllable, or it would fly to the heart of your yidam. So let me teach you a dharma. In India, many people practice this heart chakra. There is an Ah, sit syllable. At the heart chakra, there is an 8-petal lotus blossom that's open, and at the center there's an Ah character. And in the space there's also an Ah, sit syllable. And Ah is yidam. Om means the universe, the utmost consciousness. Ah is your yidam, and home is sentient beings, is all the material world, and the sentient beings are home. So if you use the transfers of consciousness by sound, you use home. But they say shiki 20 times to tremble it. But I think home and ah would be better. When you push the top of your head, your whole body has to shake, tremble. And you visualize that home syllable and the lotus to push toward the top of your head. And once it leaves, you visualize the merging with the wisdom deity or the yidam in space. Or you use your heart chakra and with the 8-petal lotus and the ah syllable, and you loudly chant ah, ah, and the whole body has to shake. It follows on the central channel to the top of the head, and then when it leaves you, then there's also an ah syllable in the universe, then R and ah would merge. So this is the transference of consciousness by sound. So when you use these 3 ways of transference of consciousness, then you don't, and you can skip the bardo state. And the bardo state is the netherworld, which is the bardo spirits. You don't need to go through the bardo state to become a bardo spirit. But Guru Tsongkhapa had attainment during the bardo state. So you don't have to leave the body to become a bardo spirit and then to be united with your yidam. But you can directly be in union with your yidam without becoming a bardo spirit. So that's my simple explanation. It talks so much here in great details. So 7 posture lotus position, regulate your breathing, visualize the yidam in the space, and then you use home sit syllable. On the 21st breathing, so that means you have to do it 21 times. So on the last time, it needs to push push away from the top of your head, and then you merge with your yidam, then you can go to the Buddha land directly. Or you use ah syllable, you can also go to the Buddha land. So my explanation is simple, but the explanation on the book are very complicated. But my explanation is very simple. But you need to be able, in order to do the transference of consciousness by sound, you need to be able to, and you need to have attainment in your treasure-based energy yoga. And how about in Vajra chanting and the 9-cycle Buddha breathing? They are all very important. Have you have attainments in this? So the 9-cycle Buddha breathing is the yoga of concentration. That's to train you for the concentration. And Vajra chanting is to train you. It's called the yoga of the Sanskrit sit syllable or Tibetan sit syllable. So you breathe and utilize Om Ahom, 3 syllables. That's the yoga of syllables. And the last one, the treasure-based energy yoga. Have you mastered this? That your central channel is very upright and the central channel is open in order to be able to do the transference of consciousness and to go that way. If you don't well practice the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, the yoga of concentration, if you don't practice Vajra chanting, the yoga of syllables, and you don't practice treasure-based energy yoga, the yoga of central channel, if you don't practice any of this, how could you attain Buddhahood through these 3 kinds of transference of consciousness? Impossible. Impossible. But if you have attainments in those 3 Dharma practices, then you have the ability to perform the transference of consciousness. Now you're clear about it, right? Three kinds. 3 ways that can be done at your moment of death. You don't have to go through bardo. However, if you're sick, it's impossible to use these 3 methods. You can only visualize your whole body to transform to become home syllable. As you lay in bed, you visualize you become home. And there's an ah sit syllable in the space above. And the hook of the ah syllable hook the circle of home, which is you. So, ah home. And that's the Buddhahood of 7-day Buddhahood. Now do you remember? One is ah, one is home. Because you cannot sit upright anymore. You lay in bed. So you visualize you become home. And the light inside your heart is burning. And then the yidam comes, which is ah, and you use the hook of ah to hook the home. And you use these 2 syllables, ah home, and to hook you up. And this is also a guidance to the Buddha land, which is the 7-day passing to the Buddha land. So there's a birthday celebration later on. Oh, Simu's birthday celebration and Grandmaster's ordination anniversary. So on the birthday of the wife, the couple went shopping, and all of a sudden the husband could not find the wife and then called her. Where are you? Do you remember that jewelry shop? Before wedding, I saw a huge diamond. And then you said, but I have not enough money, and this diamond will eventually will be yours. And the wife, I'm right here right now. Do you know? Do you remember? And the wife was really excited. And then the husband replied, but I am next to that jewelry shop buying the chicken bar. But that's not for me. Grandmaster will buy the gold bar for you. It's not the thin gold bar for the gods. It must be in the kilograms. Someone asked God, how long is a million years? And God replied, for me it's about a minute. And how about $1 million? And God said, it's about a dime for me. And then I asked God, but can you give me a dime then? And God replied, just wait a minute. People cannot just no pain, no gain. So you do have to practice the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, Vajra chanting, and Tri-service energy yoga in order to go to the Pure Lands directly. The doctor had the dialogue with the mentally disturbed patient. And the patient asked the doctor, how could the frog fly? Don't know, the doctor said. And the patient said, oh, because the frog ate the miraculous pill. And then the patient asked again, how could the snake fly? Well, the doctor replied, because he ate the miraculous pill. No, wrong. He ate the frog. And then the patient asked again, how could the eagle fly? And the doctor replied, oh, because the eagle ate the snake. But the patient laughed really loudly. Are you crazy? Because eagles can fly. And the doctor replied, oh, that's it for now. I want to lay down. You know, talking with X, I feel like that too.
现在是开始扫墓了。
Now it's the time to go visit the deceased family, go to the cemeteries. Someone was sighing. You know, look at the spirit money. They look so much like the real money. And somehow when I burned them, I felt really, really bad, upset. And after he burned the money, the wife called him and said, how come you didn't take the paper money? It's still on the table. And how about the 60,000 NT dollars that I just got today? They're gone. So he cried. He really cried very hard. And then the people nearby said, oh, you're so filial. How could you cry so much? You must be really filial. And then at night, he had a dream, and the grandpa said that, how could you send me? I was being caught here by the police because you sent me the fake money. So in this world, you have to be able to recognize clearly what is true and what is fake, what is real and what is fake. Saying that, oh, your guru came too late. So Emperor Sun Tzu, let's go back to San Francisco. How could she say something like that? Why do I want to reprimand her? Do you know that Sun Tzu was at the Mount Wutai? Do you need to go there to take him back? If you have such great transcendent power through your 30 million years of practice, then with just one thought, Emperor Sun Tzu would have come to you. So that's why she's fake. She had to cry at the tomb. And did Emperor Sun Tzu was really buried at the Mount Wutai? I don't know. You can check. Was he really buried at the Mount Wutai? The physical body doesn't have to go to Mount Wutai. As the guru, I would be able to catch you wherever you are. Then there would be a true power. So whether it's Mount Utai or San Francisco, in Chinese they all sound like
此山
mountains.
非彼山，但是呢，同样一个山，有山的因缘存在，我就可以把你
Although they're two
招到我
different
那里。
mountains, they're all still a
这么伟
mountain.
大，
It's
你
just a
知道
play
神
of
通力吗？
words in Chinese. I would be able to
真正的
entice you
神
to
通
come
力，
here
你是玉
with
林
the
博士
true
药师琉璃
transcendent
光
power.
佛，
If you
你在药
had
师琉璃
been
光佛里面，
the imperial teacher Yilin, who's now at
你
the
只要
medicine Buddha's Pure Land,
念
Lapis
着
Lazuli
顺治
realm,
皇帝，顺治皇
as
帝
long as
就
you're
到了药师琉璃
mindful
光，
of Emperor Sun Tzu, then the Emperor Sun Tzu
何
would
用
be
你到
there.
坟头乱葬岗那里去招请啊？
There's no need to go to the tomb to invoke
这
him.
个就是假的。
So that's why she was a fake.
真的呢，一念
The authentic one,
3000万
with
年，
one thought, there would be 30 million years. It would
真的就是这样。
encompass 30 million years. It
我
truly is
宿
this
命，
way.
我的宿命里面，在我的宿命当中，
In
我一
my
念就到了，
lifetimes,
一念就到了。
with one thought, I would be there.
告诉大家啊，维
So
陀、
let me tell you,
伽蓝、
Veto, Skanda, and Sangarama,
伽蓝尊者，
the Venerable Skanda and
你只要
Sangarama,
会那个字，哈哈哈，
as long as you know
写了那个
those
字，
characters,
你
ha,
可以进
ha,
入
ha,
宿命
ha,
里面，
he,
你自己的宿命里
then
面。
you can enter into your
不
own
只是你要到
past
哪里
and
去
future
飞
lives.
行到哪里，甚至可
You
以
can
到
go
你的宿命里面，
anywhere,
看到你的宿命的神通。
and you would be able to see your own lives.
具有
You
这
would
样这种力
gain
量
that kind
才
of
是对的。
transcendent power.
6點10分，加班。
So now it's 6:10.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum.